Chapter 5. A Table and a Tower. Genesis 10 to 11. The Bible is a big book that tells the biggest story. But that doesn't mean everything in the Bible is a story. There are also songs, poems, sermons, laws, letters, and lists. Most people skip the lists. They seem kind of boring, and they usually have names that even adults can't pronounce. But the lists are really important. They tell us about families and where people came from, and how God can take care of everything and keep his promises. One of the first lists in the Bible is about Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and all the kids that came from them. There were 70 different clans and tribes that came from Noah. Sometimes this list is called the Table of Nations, not like a table for eating breakfast, but like a table full of facts and figures. It was God's way of saying, look at all these people in all these places. They all belong to me. Don't ever forget that the biggest story is about a big God who wants everyone everywhere to know him, no matter how big or small. Unfortunately, people often want to be known more than they want to know God, which brings us from a table to a tower. The nations on the earth came up with what seemed like a great idea. We'll build a tower all the way up to heaven, they said to themselves. Then everyone will see how amazing we are. Don't misunderstand. God doesn't have a problem with big buildings, but he does have a problem with people who think they're bigger than him. The nations wanted to be as impressive as God, but God wasn't impressed. In fact, their big building must not have been all that big, because God had to come down from heaven just to see it. The people who wanted to make a name for themselves ended up with a name all right, but it wasn't the name they wanted. God called the place Babel, because from there he scattered the people and scrambled their language. The nations had to give up their plans for a tower reaching into heaven. And yet, the God of heaven hadn't given up on his plan for reaching the nations.